And welcome mga summoners dito sa Globe Conquerors Manila National Qualifiers para sa Philippines. Ito ang ating Day 2 for Week 1. Kami ang maging casters nyo para sa match na to. Ako si Arctic at syempre kasama ko ngayon si Chisto, and we have quite a number of matches today. Just yesterday, we've seen Mineski just take it all the way. Going to be one of the people that'll fight for that potential easy in first slot into representing the Philippines. But of course, we'll be looking at the lower brackets this time around with our schedule. Let's go ahead and check that out first, just so that we can get a preview of what's to happen today.
I do believe the matches today will be Emperor Esports against Barca Esports. So una nating matchup, and later today, Archangel, lalabanan nila ang Imperium Pro Team para malaman kung sino nga yung move on dito sa upper bracket natin.
Interesting games that we have today because of course, for match 1, we're looking at Emperor Esports, who we haven't seen in quite a while in the competitive scene. And for Barca Esports, napag-usapan naman natin ng promotionals nga na ito yung bagong breakup, pero looking all the more stronger this time around.
Yeah, pero kahit na yung Emperor Esports as an organization, matagal nating hindi nakita yung players na kasama sa roster nila. They've been pretty much playing in the pro scene here for quite a long while. Players from AEX, so players from Naga as well. So a bit of a mix here of players.
And sige, let's go ahead and review these rosters first before we head into it. So, looking at Emperor Esports, gaya nga nang na-mention mo, medyo mashup siya ng mga iba-ibang teams natin.
Yeah.
Icarus from TNC, Spear from Jengski, Calculated from Naga, Mirmo from DLSU / played for AX, played for TNC as well. And
He's been around.
Canon. Yeah, been around.
So ayun nga, kahit na yung organization matagal nating hindi nakita, the players, if you look at recent memory, they're very much known players in the PGS.
Yes. Meanwhile, looking at the side of RC Esports, we have Lando, of course, still nandyan pa rin. We have XDXP as well. For the mid lane, we have Emperor, who's the latest addition. And then for bot lane, Liar's back on the table in replacement of Ardai with either Shanna or Venus, which usually plays support.
Yeah, first, I think yung pinakamalaking pagbabago lang talaga para sa Barca Esports ay wala na yung mid laners nila from the split that we saw when they played in the PGS. Wala na si Jaime and si Apdong. But
Yes.
Emperor is filling up those shoes quite nicely. So, let's see though paano mag-match up itong para sa teams na to. Kasi looking at the teams playing in the national qualifiers, I do believe that these two are the most closely matched as far as yung skill level nila pareha. So I'm very excited to see who gets to move forward.
And it's been a while since we've seen some of these players. I mean, Liar, who has been kind of benched throughout the rest of the previous split in favor of Ardai. Mirmo, who haven't seen as much in the pro scene but has been active in collegiate through the low varsity league, as well as Cannon, who kind of similar to Liar. We haven't really seen as much in the later parts of the last PGS split, having been subbed out for players like Dodo. We have Korosu as well. So interesting to see all these players, making a mini comeback. Syempre, the question is though, can they make it all the way? Andun pa rin ba yung galing nila from the last time we saw them?
Alam mo, Arctic, alam mo na, I'm gonna cheer for Emperor in this one. Kasi malapit sa puso ko yung organization. Yung team na yan, that's how I got my start in esports. Just fun fact lang. So, definitely EMP win ako.
Good
against
times.
Barca. Yeah, good times.
And for Barca, in all fairness, kasi okay, it's already a given fact na I was the previous manager of Emperor Esports, only to be succeeded by yung co-caster natin si G10. So siya na yung manager ngayon. But for Barca as well, ang dami ko na kasing nakatrabahong players doon eh. Probably the closest for me would be Emperor, who simula pa lang ng esports career ko, siyang isa sa naging unang players ko. So I'm really happy to see that he was picked up by a pretty good team. And because he used to play, na-bring up to dati, he used to play AD carry. Pero for me personally, I actually favor seeing him better in the mid lane for some reason. And it's really shown based on naging resulta ng promotionals natin.
Yeah, and speaking of the mid lane, he's gonna be facing off against Calculated here on the side of Emperor Esports. And Carl, we know he's the type of mid laner na hindi takot maglabas ng mga weird picks in the mid lane, such as Zillion, yung mga pocket pick ba na gano'n. And I think yun yung isa sa mga bagay na kailangan talagang pag-isipan ng Barca Esports heading into pick and ban.
How do you feel about this particular team with Calculated? Kasi back on AX, yun yung nga yung naging parang trademark ni Calculate. We've seen so many different picks from him. But heading into Naga, there's been a little bit more restraint sa kung ano yung nafe-field para sa kanyang mid laners.
Alam mo, looking at Calculated's time on Naga Esports, I feel like the way that Naga decided to do the pick and ban sort of restricted him as far as going for those cheese picks. I think now that Emperor Esports is playing without a coach, he has a bit more freedom in what he selects to go for in pick and ban. And speaking of pick and ban, guys, I think papasok na tayo dito sa drafting phase very, very shortly.
Whew, it's gonna be a very interesting game right here. Tingnan na natin kung sa drafting pa lang nagkakatalo na yung dalawa nating teams. Once again, it's Barcy Esports versus Emperor Esports.
Of course, Barcy Esports on the blue side will have the luxury of first pick here. And there are a lot of stuff that you'd want the first pick on patch 8.13. There are champions such as the Aatrox, which has shown to be very strong on this current meta. Of course, nakakita tayo ng mga Aatrox mid lane with Smite and you just get these level advantages, gold advantages. Let's see anong tatanggalin dito ng Emperor Esports. Looks like they will remove the Talia here. Barcy gonna respond with Swain and Fiddle.
Definitely a lot of ability power being taken off right off the bat. Although for Fiddlesticks, in which case, typically played much more towards support these days.
Yeah.
So I do think Canon might have been practicing this quite a bit. So Zoe as well. So a lot of focus talaga onto Emperor coming in from Emperor Esports.
Yeah, maybe since ang awkward nga sabihin na Arctic kasi Emperor yung pangalan ng mid laner ng Barcy. He's up against his own esports team. Pero ayun nga, you did mention that Emperor used to play AD carry. But since he's swapping to mid lane now, I think the focus by Emperor onto him means that he will get a bit pinched here. And like we mentioned, Aatrox, one of the champions that you don't want to give over to the team on the blue side. Tatanggalin ng Emperor Esports, pero that does enable the Nocturne to come through. I feel like Barcy Esports gonna just lock that in for XDXP in the jungle.
Yeah, not a bad way to go considering XDXP style. We have seen a lot of games wherein this is what I love about XDXP. Now he could be either influential towards lanes, making sure to boost up players, and at the same time, his general control of the map has been pretty superior right from his debut. With that was G1 way back.
Tagal na nun.
Sobrang
tagal na nun.
But that was one of the things that I really liked about just seeing how he plays. So
yeah, and agree ako sa sinabi mo, Arte. XDXP, as far as his pathing goes, I definitely have no criticisms. I'm not gonna say that it's bad. I feel like it's pretty good. But speaking of things that are pretty good, Emperor Esports have locked in both the Irelia and the Kaisa. Probably gonna go on to Mirmo's hand in the AD carry position, but the Irelia still up in the air kung kanino talaga mapupunta to. Of course, both Icarus and Calculated, alam ko kaya nilang gamitin ng champion na to.
Oh, definitely. If ever it were to go to Calculated, it would be a nice... It's a breath of fresh air for me at least kasi yun nga, sobrang iinan lang yung champion na nakita ko kay Calculated the last time we saw him. I'd love to see something all the more different given the current meta that we have. But looks like it will be an Ezreal and Shen lock in for Barcy Esports. A bit of uncertainty with where the Shen could be going. Wouldn't be surprised if either Lando could go to Venus.
Yeah, I feel like inaantay lang ng Barcy Esports kung ano yung magiging matchup na lalabas towards the top lane. Pero I'm expecting it to go bot lane onto Venus and just pair it with the Ezreal. You have a very safe laning phase and then you wait for the level 6s to happen. You have Paranoia and Stand United para dun sa mga global pressure plays na kayang gawin netong Barcy Esports. So that's one thing that EMP has to watch out for. Headed into the second banning phase, Emperor just gonna target Lando's Fiora. Alam natin kung gaano kagaling si Lando on the champion.
Yeah, looks like they're gonna try to focus out top lane, probably estimating that this will be a support Shen. Looks like Barcy Esports not gonna be going for their first ban within the second rotation. Instead, Emperor Esports will proceed to their second ban, which will be the Kennen.
Yeah, because why not? Kaya naman nilang huwag mag-ban ng una. Will be Mundo removed from the top lane. So, Emperor can move the Irelia top lane and then they could basically make the Mundo ban a waste on the side of Barcy Esports. Alistair is the hover right now for Cannon. It is locked in, so a lot of engage already on the side of Emperor Esports. Ngayon, moving over to the blue side, naghahanap ng solo laners itong Barcy. We get to find out where the Shen will go for sure, and we get to see which mid laner Emperor decides to take against Calculated.
So it looks like it will be a Camille locked in for Lando. So this does make the confirmation that this is going to be a Shen support for Venus. Meanwhile, what we are missing out on here is the mid lane. Of course, there you go.
Okay, so looking at this comp from Barcy Esports, they're headed for that global wombo combo. You see their backline threat, so there's a lot of things Mirma has to watch out for on the Kai'Sa. You have a Camille diving you, a Nocturne as well. That's a disgusting amount of engage on the side of Barcy Esports. I'm really worried for EMP, but speaking of engage, Arctic, speaking of disgusting engage, you have a Malphite coming in here. So if I were to assume the lanes here, it's gonna be Calculated playing Irelia mid, like you mentioned, and Icarus is gonna hold on to the Malphite top lane.
Wow. I think we did see Malphite top lane from... Wait a minute.
They're not swapping.
Malphite mid lane. Wow, the last time I ever saw this in competitive play was from... I don't know if there were other recent games, pero the throwback that I have is like many seasons past, Singapore Sentinels, HY. Wow. How about you, Chisa? I don't know if you've seen any competitive games with Malphite in the mid lane.
I'm trying to remember. Back in 2012,
Okay.
Alex Ich from Gambit.
Whoa, okay talagang mga throwbacks.
Ganun kalayo yung naalala kong Malphite mid lane. Kung tama yung naalala ko, pero mukhang tapon na muna natin yung predictions kung saan pupunta yung Irelia.
Yes.
It's very much calculated, Arctic.
Very
yeah.
classic calculated. I'm loving it right now. But yun na nga po, Barcy Esports versus Emperor Esports. Let us know sa ating Facebook chat or sa gaming.youtube.com/peachgarena/live kung sino ang sinusuportahan nyo as we head into Game 1. Hashtag BE win ba o hashtag EMP win? Let's head on to the Rift.
Alam mo, Arctic, papasok pa lang tayo ng game, hindi pa nagdidikit yung mga champion, nag-e-enjoy na talaga ako. Kasi andun yung uncertainty kung ano talaga yung mangyayari sa game na to. You'd have, just from the looks of things, I'd have to say Barcy's Engage is a bit more reliable compared to Emperor Esports. But in terms of raw damage and DPS, I feel like EMP just has more options in both the Kindred and the Kais. As we see, Invader not gonna get the ward.
Yep. Just try to get a few hits onto Lando. Spear really going for it. But, sige, given that we're already into the game, let's go ahead and talk about these compositions a bit more. Kasi pareho tayong nagulat sa Malphite mid ni Calculated. Not to mention he is running Spite. Sige, but let's talk about EMP a little bit later on. Let's start with Barcy Esports first off.
I did touch on it na saglit lang na. I did say Barcy Esports comp has a bit more reliable engage. Of course, having point and click on the Nocturne is very helpful. They have more globals as well. So, EMP has to watch out for that. Moving over to the side of Emperor, yeah, they have the Alistar. Yes, they have the Malphite, but they need their backline to survive the dive from Barcy Esports if they want to win these team fights. Note that there's not that much peel. Kapag ginamit ni Canon yung combo niya onto the members of Barcy to engage, wala magbabatay kay Mirmo or kay Spear. One thing they can use though is the Lamster's fight. They have that tool to at least survive the initial burst, and once they do, they can go for a re-engage and then fight against Barcy.
I mean, well, it looks like Emperor gonna be disrupting Calculated here from the full take on that camp. So not a bad way to go. Pero yeah, looking at Barcy Esports right here, what I love about this composition, it's very textbook. Like you mentioned, with all the globals working right here, it's pretty much a no-brainer on how you'd want to utilize this composition. But,
check this out though.
Ooh, Spear will get spotted out by XP though in exchange will miss out on landing the skill onto Spear. Spear will just walk away from that.
It's very nice to see Malphite mid lane Arctic. Feels like we're just enjoying League of Legends at this point. Tamang enjoy lang, mga kaibigan.
Yeah, it's really nice looking at innovative picks sometimes, but looks like Calculated gonna take quite a bit of damage from Emperor right there. Might want to back away a tad bit.
You know, the question in my mind, Arctic, is kung ano yung bibilin ni Calculated on Malphite mid lane.
True.
Does he go tank or does he go AP?
Yeah, especially since you have to take into account, since he did run Smite, he also on top of that went for a jungle item as his first item. So that's definitely a tad bit of a detriment laning up against Emperor. But it also does make you wonder like what direction he will be going with this build.
Yan, kung iniisip nyo bakit nagsasmite yung mga mid laner ngayon, lalo ni Malphite, it's not a funnel comp like you get to see in other competitive regions. I've watched a bunch of games with smite mid laners. Usually what they do is steal away the enemy Raptor camp and really delay the enemy jungler. Speaking of junglers, Spear has snuck up in the bot lane.
Are they gonna try to go for anything though? Looks like Venus and Lyre are taking it a bit more easier here. But okay. Looks like that will be a back away from Lando for now. Icarus will spot that out though. Gonna prevent Lando from getting that full channel.
Yeah, first you don't want your laner to have a decent back. Icarus gonna want to delay Lando quite a bit more. He is a bit low here. If Lando is able to land a decent hook shot, I believe he can actually win a fight against Icarus. But level 4, here we go.
Oh, gutsy coming from Icarus. Very, very low on health. Is that gonna be first blood? Yes, indeed. Goes through. Barcy Esports' Lando.
Yeah, good first blood there by Lando. I think Icarus just didn't respect the damage that Camille could put out.
Definitely.
The shield as well helping. I did mention if he lands a decent hook shot, Icarus doesn't flash away. Goes down for a first blood. That's pretty much a mechanical error by
Yeah.
Icarus.
It's a bit unfortunate right there for the top lane of Emperor, and kind of saw it coming. He was on the lower spectrum of health. Or, I mean, if he did pull out an outplay, then that would definitely have been quite the highlight. But the odds were kind of stacked against him from the get-go by going for that trade.
Yeah, he doesn't burn his teleport to get back into lane. No taunt though.
Yeah, double taunt coming in from Venus right there. Gets pulled straight into the arms of Mirma. Look at Mirma getting all that damage onto that Shen. Cannon not able to land that crowd control to lock down Venus. Looks like we'll just back away for now.
Cannon could have flashed forward there, but since wala silang information kung nasan si XDXP at the time, just gonna be happy with burning the Shen's flash. Spear has been spotted by that ward though, so XDXP just going to back away.
Yeah, a little bit of fancy steps there from Spear. Meanwhile, more action here towards the top side. Icarus taking a hell lot of damage from Lando. Might want to restrain himself a bit right there. Flash in, coming in from Lando. Won't take down Icarus though. Does force him to low health. Both top laners, in fact.
Yeah, both flashes burned there by the top laners. Lando just a bit too close to the tower. Thought he could finish off Icarus with the next auto attack. Not enough damage, you know.
A lot of attempts coming in from both sides here so far. But, of course, just that one kill up for Lando in this game. So, okay, XDXP gonna manage to spot out. Spear here gets the first initial barrage of damage. That will be a hold. Spear forced to flash away. That will be the kill going to XDXP. Meanwhile, Calculated a little bit far off on the map will get caught out by Lando. Lando not able to propel himself inside, but that's gonna be a sure kill as Varsity Esports takes yet another one.
Yeah, doesn't really matter right there. Kahit hindi tumami hook shot, Calculated was well and truly dead in that situation. Spear, a bit of disrespect walking through the jungle, not knowing where the Nocturne was. Just gets 100 to 0'd by XDXP quite easily. But nakabawi yung Kindred. 3-0 in the kill score para dito sa Varsity Esports.
Yeah, kill each towards top jungle and mid respectively for Emperor Esports. That kind of makes you wonder what is going on in this earlier game for them, because there's been quite a number of missteps right here. Meanwhile, that's going to be Lando will be using the Hextech Ultimatum to lock down Icarus. Great response coming in from Emperor, and they get the kill. Lando is now on a killing spree.
Yeah, and this is how this comp works, Arctic. You use the Hextech Ultimatum, nowhere for Icarus to go. Ibabagsak nila yung Galio Ultimate. Nothing the Irelia could do in that situation. Just goes down for his second death. You know what I just realized, Arctic? Itong battle sa top lane, it's a battle of two former TNC top laners.
Who's the better former? So far, Lando definitely looking like the better one here.
And of course, both these players are generally known for playing carries in the top lane. But so far, Lando's actually winning this matchup.
That hasn't been any good for Icarus so far in this game. Same could kind of go for Calculated, because within the earlier minutes of this game, we've been seeing Emperor getting most of the hefty damage onto Calculated. But looks like, looking at itemization for Calculated so far, it looks like he will be going for the completion of the first jungle item. I'm wondering what particular enchantment he will be going for, though, in which case.
Yeah, actually, Calculated bought a Dark Seal in his inventory. So, sari-sari store muna itong item build ni Calculated. Hindi pa tayo sigurado.
Yeah.
Hindi natin malalaman.
Good spread, good spread. No certain fight yet, but meanwhile, Icarus going at it onto Lando once again. But you have to take note, Lando is 3-0 on this already. And Icarus still far off in terms of itemization. Kung ikukumpara mo kay Lando na meron ng Sheen, meron ng Tiamat, that's definitely better in terms of what damage output he has against Icarus.
Yeah, I feel like obvious na dito kay Icarus na any trade that he takes against Lando, he'll practically lose. Really not much you can do against a Sheen and Tiamat commit.
Oh, Emperor gonna get that taunt onto Calculated. Nobody really going for that mid lane though. It's just a mid lane squabble between Discalio as well as the Malphite.
Yeah, and speaking of the mid lane arc, I feel like the early game is going heavily in the favor of Varsity Esports.
Definitely.
Majority of the champions they pick do shine at this stage of the game. Inaantay lang natin yung Emperor Esports. Once they hit that point that they all come online, in terms of raw damage, I feel like mas maganda talaga yung chances nila compared dito sa Varsity Esports.
Yeah, that is kind of what I'm waiting for here, because the past few minutes have been beautiful for Varsity Esports. Kind of makes you wonder what direction Emperor Esports at least, is going to be going for in the later parts of this game, because we haven't really seen any telltale signs of anywhere where they're thriving so far within the first 9 minutes.
Yeah, alam natin anong direction pupunta si Emperor. He is playing the Galio, so pataas yung lipad niya.
Alam mo, yun yung medyo tricky part. Whenever I have mentioned Emperor Esports, kailangan masigurado makompleto mo para lang maiwasan yung confusion na sino ba talaga yung minimension mo, yung mid laner ng Barcy o yung team mismo.
I mean, we can go na sabihin na lang natin itong EMP.
Yan, sige, tama.
And then mas clarified siya. So whenever we say Emperor, we're referring to the Galio, guys. Sorry na lang sa mga nako-confused, but it is very confusing.
Sige, pero so far, let's go ahead and try to look at what's the light here for Emperor. Because, like we mentioned, 4-0, definitely not the best start for them. Quite a hefty goal difference very early on. So, what angles are we even looking at here?
Tumitingin ako sa bot lane ngayon kay Mir Martic since the only losing lane for Emperor Esports is the top lane. So far, si Icarus lang yung kumakain ng karamihan ng pressure with the Galio ultimate, and the Kai'Sa has been fairly untouched. Hindi pa rin halos nakakakain ng pressure itong si Mir mo dito sa bot lane. So, he's having a pretty comfortable laning phase, and knowing Kai'Sa as a champion, alam natin kung gaano siya kalakas late game, especially 2 to 3 items. See the gold graphs here. Si Icarus lang talaga yung malaking deficit. Kung ikukumpara natin yung mga matchups, Mir mo pretty much well and truly slowly getting there.
That's a heavy deficit that Icarus has already. Almost 1.5k of gold difference. That's like almost second tier item. Yeah.
Yan yung Tiamat difference in the top lane.
And wondering what spear will eventually go for here, because actually even XDXP to an extent, we haven't really seen as many ganks from XDXP, even if he having hit that level 6 marks. But then again, if you're gonna look at how the lanes have been playing out across the board, has been pretty safe for both sides. Nobody really going for those heavy overextensions.
Yeah, like you mentioned, di pa natin nakikita dumilim yung map Arctic. Wala pang paranoia na lumalabas galing dito kay XDXP. Part of the reason why is most of Barcy Esports laners are actually pushing really hard into EMP. Look at top lane. Of course, Land having a Tiamat will always shove in onto Icarus. Galio has a lot more wave gear available than the Malphite early. So, no overextended lanes means na hindi makakahanap ng mga pwedeng target itong si XDXP.
I guess on the flip side, it does kind of make sense if you're going to look at it for Emperor Esports' side, just because any overextension means that Barca Esports could just easily bring the numbers in their favor with all the ultimates, all the globals that they have. Camille to an extent through the teleport, but here we go. Looks like this is going to be a gang coming in from Emperor Esports towards this mid lane, really going hard onto this Galio. Shen going to be popping the ultimate. Meanwhile, Calculated getting the knock-up to lock down that Galio. Looks like that Malphite will suffer as a casualty, though, 1-for-1 in this mid lane for both mid laners.
Yeah, unfortunately, para dun kay Spear, hindi tumama yung Lamser's fight onto his ally. Malphite was not in that ultimate. Doesn't get the unkillable status, but top lane,
yeah, looks like Icarus going at it 1v1 against Lando. Quite a bit of damage that he's taking already at half health. Looks like we'll pop the ultimate. Won't be going full commit though. Gonna be respecting Lando right there. You still wanna make sure that you don't get into the tussle with a 3-0 Camille.
Yeah, ultimate lang. Para sa disengage dito kay Icarus, syempre available pa rin yung Hextech ultimatum ni Lando. So if he did go for an all-in, kahit na mag-flash siya, he'll still get caught. Emperor's teleported top lane, trying to look for a play, but Icarus already backed off. So feeling ko walang dive na mangyayari dito, Arctic.
Yeah. Take note, ultimate is down for Emperor here though. Looks like he is starting to make his way. Spear is lingering towards top side as well if ever Barcy Esports goes full commit onto this. Meanwhile, Spear very low, not that much mana, won't be able to do much. This could be an easy double kill for Lando, but it's actually Emperor that secures it. Nonetheless, 2-0 in favor of Barcy Esports.
Lando is so good on this Camille. 4-0 in 1. Icarus, di na naman niya nirespeto yung fact na kaya siyang i-dive doon ni Lando. Emperor not even needed for the initial tower dive, just teleporting there para ma-secure yung kill onto Spear. Spear already low after that mid lane fight. Didn't go to recall, went to clear his Krugs. First turret as well, mapupunta dito kay Lando. Dead na lang yung cannon dito. Actually, it doesn't go down. Quite unlucky.
Ooh, Barcy Esports really getting some good work right here. Not only are they going to get first turret, but inevitably, with nobody in position from Emperor Esports to contest this Rift Herald take as well, BE is on a roll.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate for Icarus that Lando, his lane opponent, is this far ahead compared to him. Now, this is a growing problem para sa Emperor Esports. Kaya ba nilang daanan yung bagyo dito? Kaya ba nilang Kaya lang i-dive tong bot lane ng Barca Esports. They want to do it.
Looks like that will be calculated. Getting the knockup onto Venus. Teleport will be coming in from Lando, though. 3 members. It's a 3-on-3 right now. Liar just hitting from the backline. Cannon soaking up all that damage. Icarus a little bit in too late for the fight as well. XP might be going for the dive and go straight in onto 4 members. Make that 5 members. Emperor, though, but looks like this could be the claim. Coming in from Barcy. Only 2 members left from Emperor. Spear will be the next casualty right here. 4 for 1 in favor of Barcy Esports.
Yeah, we need a replay of that team fight. Barca Esports played that so well. Emperor Esports needed to force a play, but that is not where you want to force that move. The taunt flash from Venus was massive. Sets up Liar for that triple kill. Napakalaking panalo na as we head into the replay. Initially, ang ganda ng flash ni Liar. Sobrang lupit ng reactions niya to that Malphite ultimate. Now, Venus actually carries them so hard in this fight. Icarus even tanks the tower. This is such a forced play by Emperor Esports. Now, the stopwatch buys a lot of time for the rest of Barca Esports. Now, look at this taunt flash by Venus. Lands onto 4 members of EMP. Barca Esports absolutely destroys them in this fight.
Ooh, that was just so unfortunate. And I think ito yung team fight na nakita natin yung full potential ng composition na meron on Barca Esports. Like we mentioned, there's just so many ways that they could have control because of the fast responses coming in across the board. That even though initially in the fight, Emperor Esports, it was equal. Then Spear came in, but XDXP able to get that response. Emperor Esports in exchange got into that darkness, wasn't really able to do much, and it was just a cleanup from there. And I think with what hope we were looking at in the form of Nirmo towards bot lane, I think that even closes out because Liar got 3 kills off of that fight.
Yeah, and alam mo yung pinakamalalang part ng Arctic? It was EMP forcing that play. The fact that they tried to get control back and failed means that Barcy wins so much more from that fight. Now, looks like the storm is really coming in here for Emperor Esports. Barca Esports do have their ultimates back up on cooldown, so we might see a paranoia if somebody overextends in a side lane. Mirmo getting aggressive.
Getting a bit of damage onto Venus. But yeah, fortunately for Emperor Esports, looks like they are starting to get a bit impatient here, trying to look for fights, trying to really force it to an extent. And we saw what happened as a result towards that bot lane earlier. And if they continue to exhibit that kind of impatience, then it's not going to really help the Charles. It's only going to boost Barca Esports into a massive lead as the minutes go on.
Yeah, tinitignan ko yung itemization dito ni Calculated Arctic. Yung bagay na binabantayan talaga natin throughout this game. 17 minutes on the clock right now. Sari-sari store pa rin yung items niya. Hindi pa rin natin alam kung ano talaga yung gusto niyang bilhin. Meron siyang components ng Abyssal Mask, tapos meron siyang ba? Okay, finally may core item na siya. Will be the Abyssal Mask first for that Malphite mid lane.
It is interesting to note though that initially he did buy up on a first jungle item, but looks like has already sold it. Not going to be pursuing to actually build it up. But you have to take note, Barca Esports really making good work. Great control over the map so far. Getting all first tier turrets down from Emperor Esports. And this is just going to limit EMP all the more with what reach that they have across the map.
Yeah, tingin ko na-realize ni Calculated na hindi na siya makakapag-jungle, but look at this.
Ooh, that was unfortunate for Icarus. Just gets the full damage coming in from Barca Esports right there. And this ultimately falls behind all the more. Calculated tries to get the initiate onto XCXP. Moment of stasis though. Looks like XCXP gonna get this dive in straight onto the squishy. Remember, won't be enough though with 3 members from EMP. A bit unfair though, but gets the job done.
Yeah, must feel bad para ito Calculated. Yung mga ultimate niya palagi na lang naiiwasan na itong Barca Esports. Grabe reactions ni XDXP para lang sa style points, para lang mukha siyang pogi.
Yep.
Nag-stopwatch siya even though he was pretty much dead.
So, pretty much shows just how ahead exactly Barca Esports is at this point. But, I don't know, man. As this game goes along, it's a massive worry for Emperor Esports right here because we're yet to look for that one angle that they could work with because nobody has been doing particularly stellar from any one of these members.
Yeah, I feel like this is a warm-up game for Emperor Esports at this point. This is really not the situation you'd want to be in. But of course, you have to credit Varsity Esports. They did draft for the early game and they executed well on it. XDXP was able to pick up a few early kills on that Nocturne. Nagamit din ni Emperor yung kanyang hero's entrance to the sideline. So, Varsity definitely on point with the execution for game 1.
What makes things all the more scary here is we're already heading into that 20-minute mark. And for Emperor Esports at least, it's going to be a tall order to even contest this, given that, like I mentioned, again, the composition that Varsity Esports has, especially in even closer quarters. We saw just how beautiful a taunt Venus got earlier off of Calculated, though, will get spotted out by XDXP. Look at all the damage. Malphite forced to flash away. Lando gonna propel himself onto that Malphite, though. Calculated tried to walk this out. Icarus gonna try to help him out here, but looks like that will be enough to allow them to make the escape.
Okay, flash lang yung mawawala doon kay Calculated. Still a good burn there by Varsity Esports.
True.
Not much gone. Only the Hextech Ultimatum. Meron pa rin silang Paranoia na available. Meron ding Hero's Entrance. So, pwede pa rin maghanap ng laban dito yung Varsity Esports. Speaking of laban,
yeah, Emperor a little bit far in, but look at that. So tanky. Spear not even able to get much of a dent onto him.
yeah, Spear hasn't been... Hold a thought. Cannon might die.
Ooh, Cannon took way too much damage right there. Venus tries to get the taunt onto him. Cannon, luckily, that's actually best case scenario for him. Manages to walk away. But then again, from what we're seeing here, Varsity Esports really getting a pretty good control over this upper side of the map towards making sure that EMP and Exchange wouldn't have as much control over this Baron.
Yeah, Mirror's actually starting to deal a bit more damage here. Of course, Venus nga yung support, so medyo malambot yung Shen. Mirror on this guy is headed on to building the Nashor's Tooth next. But the question on my mind still is, how does EMP stop all the dive onto Mirmo? Paano nila hindi hahayaan ito kaya sila mamatay on from a Camille, a Nocturne, a Galio, a Shen even, diving all towards. Kasi itong Varsity Esports, titiglan lang talaga nila yung backline na itong EMP. Pwede nilang hayaan lang yung frontline and just ignore those snatches, go straight for Mirmo.
That's definitely a deficiency that Emperor Esports is working with right now. I mean, you have supposedly quite a bit of damage through the Aurelia, through the Kindred, through the Kaisa. But of course, in exchange by having a Malphite as well as an Alistar, you have great sets, but nothing that's particularly solid in making sure that these carries are kept alive. Unless, maybe if you're ahead, that's a different story. But since EMP is playing from behind, it just becomes all the more of a problem than an asset.
Yeah, and kung babalik tayo sa pick and ban, Arctic, despite both teams having heavy engage, mas reliable lang talaga yung sa Varsity Esports. Mas madaling gamitin yung abilities nila compared to EMP. Even though we see a Malphite and an Alistar, kailan natin sila nakikita mag-combo. But speaking of combos,
yes, looks like that's going to be 4 members of EMP onto Emperor right here. Didn't even stand a chance. But small victories for Emperor right there. But at what cost exactly? Let's go ahead and check out the position of the rest of Varsity. So nobody really getting a push in. That will be second tier towards mid lane though. But will EMP try to go for more? He looks like he try to go for Venus. Venus manages to dash away though, no problem whatsoever. Icarus meanwhile though, looking it out with Lando. Lando forced to flash away. Meanwhile, that will be Stand United coming in from Venus. But finally, Icarus showing signs of life.
Yeah, muntik naman nalo sa 1v1 na yun itong si Icarus, but the Stand United will help Lando survive just a bit more now. Merong unstoppable force, si Karke, not gonna use it.
Yep. A little bit of cat and mouse chase right there. No way Emperor could have gotten the reach without any way to speed themselves through to reach the otherwise fleeing members of Varsity Esports.
Yeah, nakita nga naman natin, Arctic, na napitas ng EMP si Emperor around the top half of the map, and you take the small victories when you get them.
Yeah.
Given that Varsity Esports isn't committing as many errors in this game, kung kayo yung EMP, you take these small chances and you punish missed positions from Varsity Esports, and yun yung isang paraan na pwede nilang gamitin para makabalik sa game na to.
Definitely agree with you there, man. One thing that I'm kind of wondering though is why Varsity Esports has started to take a bit of a slower pace. I was kind of expecting that with the lead that they have with the globals that they have to catch a member of EMP off guard. Hasn't really been something that we've been seeing ever since what, like this 15-17 minute mark.
Yeah, I feel like Varsity Esports should start looking at this Baron. They're in the area right now, but EMP has a bit of vision. There is a control ward in the pit. Will be spotted out and cleared now, but note that ward around the side of the Baron pit. Hindi pa nakikita ng Emperor ng Varsity Esports yan, yung ward ng EMP. So, we do know what is going on. It's actually a very cheeky ward.
Yep. Not a bad way to go, actually.
Alam niyo na guys kung saan kayo mag-ward sa
Oh, I
Baron.
mean, natutunan na nga ako ngayon eh.
Where the ward?
Yep, exactly. Courtesy of... Not really sure. Could be Carl, could be Mirmo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure nanonood na
Oh,
yung
wait, no. Actually, either Carl or Canon pala. Oh, wait. Hindi ko makita yung wards. Naka-blur out kasi, naka-black and white. Couldn't get the shape. But anyway. Varsity Sports, looks like they are getting a push in on these lanes here. Here towards mid, towards... Trying to get a good shove at least, towards having a bit of a leg up here on control over Baron.
Things have slowed down here, Arctic. The pace of this game has pretty much been stale. Wala nag-overextend sa side lane on the side of EMP. I know Varsity Esports want to use their globals, but Lando smells. Okay, nakita sa ward si Carl.
Ah, there you go.
Good vision. Pero,
Again, though,
once again,
Emperor gonna get caught off by 3 members of Emperor Esports right here. Man, the confusion. But looks like Canon, look at all that damage that he took. Take note, the rest of Varsity Esports, they're starting to close in. XDXB, is he gonna go for that Alistar? Yes, indeed. Look at all that damage. That's gonna be Lamb's fight coming in from Seer to try to keep him alive. Knockup coming in on to that Alistar alone teleport coming in from Ikaro.
Ooh,
Enough right there. Emperor getting the kill onto Canon. Calculate gets 2 members knocked up from the members of Varsity Esports. Emperor, moment of stasis for him. Liar just hitting in from the back line. Look at all the members that he's managed to dwindle down in health. Looks like Calculated will be the next of all. Spear trying to do what he can, but he goes down as well. That'll be the ace for Varsity Esports.
yeah, the ace there for BE. They're gonna take everything from Emperor Esports. And looking back, tinatay na naman nilang pinasin yung Galio, but halfway through, na-realize nila, okay, merong Nocturne, merong Shen, kayang-kaya nila mag-collapse. They try to back off. BE collapses on top of them, and in that fight, even though Mirmo's in a good position initially, yung Spirit's Refuge ng Shen dodged away from all of the auto-attack damage of that Kai'Sa, meaning that Varsity Esports basically took no damage from Mirmo's Kai'Sa. They win a fight. Now they're gonna get 2 inhibitors. Ngayon, Arctic Baron is looking like such a big possibility. Now let's look at this fight. Trinay nilang pinasin itong si Emperor, but they realized, okay, papunta na yung Nocturne, papunta na yung Shen. We have to back off. Just enough vision allows the Paranoia to come in. They dive in. Tignan mo yung Spirit's Refuge ng Shen. Walang damage na bumabagsak onto Varsity Esports. Kahit na auto-attack ng auto-attack si Miro, ibabato niya lahat. Walang nangyayari. Because everything is just dodged away. Decent ult by Calculated just to extend the fight longer. Kaso walang follow-up. Spear and Mirmo don't deal damage onto the front line of Varsity Esports. They win the fight. They get 2 inhibitors and they get a massive control on this game 1.
And just like that, once again, we look at an initiate coming in from Emperor Esports, but it's eventually a turnaround that goes to Varsity. So I guess they were trying to get that round 2 onto Emperor, but wasn't really the case in the end.
Then Arctic, 14k gold lead para sa Varsity Esports dito. Nagamit talaga nila yung early game power nila. They never allowed EMP to get any breathing room in this game. Di pa mag-online itong EMP.
Not at all. And look at what the result was. Emperor Esports losing out on 2 inhibitors towards top and bottom respectively. That's going to be all the more pressure that they have to deal with. And it easily puts Varsity Esports back on the map for this game 1. And I wouldn't even be surprised if eventually we see a #B win for game 1.
Yeah, game 1 is looking very much in the hands of Varsity Esports. Of course, Baron still very much something that EMP wants to defend, but speaking of defending things, Lando is pushing in the bot lane.
Yep.
You have to stop that Camille.
Really
mawawalan silang towers.
Really getting that push on towards bot lane. Top lane looks like it's starting to push in as well for Varsity Esports. Probably looking for that right timing to secure Baron Nashor.
There's just nothing
Or maybe
EMP
just a
can do.
pick-off.
It looks like B's just choking out EMP. Now, I wonder when Varsity wants to go for this Baron. Spear's caught.
Ooh, Spear. Look at all the damage though. XDSB goes straight for Canada. Lamb's respite. Will it be enough right there? Oh, Spear goes down in Egypt. Mirmo, meanwhile, trying to kite around XDXB. Does have Guardian Angel double kill for Liar. Mirmo gonna try to flee the scene of the crime, but this will B with 2 members. Now looks like B actually going to try to go for a finish right here. Lando, Hextech ultimatum onto Icarus will get supplemented. Calculated tries to go for the 2-man knockup to hold off the members from Barcy Esports, but I think this is going to be a picture-perfect finish for Barcy, in which case they're taking the Nexus, trying to get a few kills before this game ends, but I think it's a good done deal. Calculated. Not much he can do right here as a tanky Malphite just gets dwindled down by the members of Barcy, and that's going to be Game 1 going to Barcy Esports in this best of 3. Very, very well played.
Well played indeed, Arctic. I'd have to say that's a pretty much one-sided game in favor of Barcy Esports. EMP was never really playing League of Legends in that one, in my opinion. It feels like they never really came up to play for Game 1. Tanong natin, Game 2, kung makakabawi nga sila. But going back, I feel like Barcy Esports really played to their draft strengths really well.
Definitely.
The early game was their advantage. Use the Galio, use the Nocturne. EMP was just never able to set up. All of their lanes lost. Icarus as well. Quite funny that we see Icarus sort of perform in this manner against LAN. They get solo kill at level 4 in the top lane. So I wonder, can EMP bounce back for the next match?
It is a bit of a question. Basically, man, looking at that game though, just right from the get-go, I love the draft coming from Barcy Esports. Very straightforward, very textbook, and I think it's it's the type of composition that's much more suitable for an opening game in a best of 3 because of how straightforward it is.
You know what Barcy's draft reminds me of? It reminds me of Katie Rolster from the LCK. It very much looks like what Katie would run. And I do believe their coach is a KT fan, so take a page out of their book. So
shout out to Kyle.
Yeah, it very much looks like a KT draft, and it showed they can execute on it.
Yeah, very beautifully played. Looks like Barcy Esports practice has been paying off immensely for them. And of course, with that practice, kind of sets the question, will we be seeing a 2-0? In which case, can Emperor Esports bounce back? I guess we'll have to find out in a teeny tiny bit. But for the meantime, quick break muna tayo, mga summoners. Kami naging casters nyo. Ako si Arctic at syempre kasama ko si Chisto. At ito, ang Globe Conquerors Manila National Qualifiers para sa Pinas. Kita-kits. Coming in from Lando though, 3 members, it's a 3-on-3 right now. Liar just hitting from the backline, Cannon soaking up all that damage. Icarus a little bit in too late for the fight as well. Or XP might be going for the dive and go straight in onto 4 members, make that 5 members. But looks like this could be the claim. Coming in from Barcy, only 2 members left from Emperor Spear will be the next casualty right here. 4-1 in favor of Barcy Esports.
Yeah, we need a replay of that team fight.
Dude, that Alistar alone teleport coming in from Icarus. Good enough right there. Emperor getting the kill onto Cannon. Calculate gets 2 members knocked up from the members of Barcy Esports. Emperor, moment of stasis for him. Liar just hitting in from the back line. Look at all the members that he's managed to dwindle down in health. It's like Calculated will be the next to fall. Spear trying to do what he can, but he goes down as well. That'll be the ace for Barcy Esports.
Yeah, the ace there for
Canada. Rams respite. Will it be enough right there? Oh, Spear goes down in Egypt. Mirmo, meanwhile, trying to kite around XP does have Guardian Angel, double kill for Liar. Mirmo gonna try to flee the scene of the crime, but this will be with 2 members. Now looks like B actually gonna try to go for a finish right here. Lando, Hextech ultimatum onto Icarus will get supplemented. Calculated tries to go for the 2-man knockup to hold off the members from Barcy Esports, but I think this is gonna be a picture-perfect finish for Barcy, in which case they're taking the Nexus, trying to get a few kills before this game ends. But I think it's a good done deal. Calculated. Not much he can do right here as a tanky Malphite just gets dwindled down by the members of Barcy, and that's gonna be Game 1 going to Barcy Esports in this best of 3. Very, very well played.
Well played indeed, Arctic. I'd have to say that's a pretty much